A plea this weekend to President Trump to stop the flow of money that goes to the families of terrorists who kill Americans and others. That's right, US taxpayer money, say critics, handed over to Palestinian terrorists and rewarding their relatives. We've told this demand is on the agenda for Wednesday's visit by Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas when he goes to the White House. And the tragic case of one victim of terrorism, an American hero, is on the minds of many.
Taylor Force was a West Point graduate who served in Afghanistan and Iraq and was pursuing his MBA at Vanderbilt. His future was bright.
Taylor was stabbed to death while he was in Israel by a Palestinian.
The 28-year-old was savagely knifed to death as he strolled on a Tel Aviv ocean boardwalk last year. His killer, a Palestinian terrorist, whose stabbing spree also severely wounded 10 others.
All dads, all moms are proud of their kids. Taylor basically did everything right, but he was humble about it.
Taylor's parents, Robbie and Stuart, say their grief was compounded by the fact that the family of their son's murderer is making money off Taylor's death. The Palestinian Authority pays jihadists and their survivors who are involved in acts of terrorism money, critics say, that is derived from U.S. funds. A congressional bill named for Taylor, called the Taylor Force Act, would cut off U.S. aid to the Palestinian Authority if it does not stop the payments. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is the bill's main sponsor.
Can you imagine growing up in a country where your government will pay you for killing someone else through a terrorist act?
The U.S. gives the Palestinian Authority more than $300 million a year, and the PA reportedly shells out that much to the families, about 7% of its total budget. Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, says the payments must stop.
I think nobody, no Israeli or no American, would be happy to know that his taxpayer money is being used to pay for families of terrorism. You actually encourage terrorism when you give money to the family of terrorism.
Taylor's killer was identified as 22-year-old Bashar Mas'allah, who was shot to death by Israeli police after the attack. His body was given a hero's welcome when it returned to the West Bank. Palestinian UN Ambassador Riyad Mansour told us while the PA is against civilians being killed, what he calls the families of martyrs deserve the money.
You cannot cherry pick one case here or one case there, that there are, a large number of Palestinians who are receiving compensation. They are victims of Israeli terrorism.
Taylor's parents hope the bill would discourage acts of terrorism.
And it's so important that the Taylor Force Act passes so that other sons and daughters, brothers and sisters aren't lost in this way, no matter what.
The terrorist, we
Just
never thought that we would be in this position, so we want to reach out to people.
Well, Senator Graham says President Trump will sign the Taylor Force Act if it lands on his desk. But so far, passage remains uncertain. That's because, as of right now, not one Democrat in Congress supports it. But the bill's supporters hope that soon will change as more people consider the cause of Taylor Force and so many others like him.